What is flagpoling? This is a term that many of you guys might have heard before. Probably know what it is, probably don't know what it is, and if so, let's talk about what it is. Now, flagpoling is a term that's regularly used in Canada, or if your intention is to migrate to Canada, flagpoling is a term that you should know what it means. Guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. Smash that like button and drop a comment. Alright, all the returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back to another video. Of course, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about flagpoling. What does it look like? What does it mean? Is it beneficial? Should you or should you not try to do flagpoling? Also, I want to say a huge thank you and a huge welcome to all the new subscribers, all the persons who have been subscribing. Really appreciate it, guys. Welcome to the family. Thank you for being here. And you know what? Let's grow this community together. Now we're almost at 8,000 subscribers, but our goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers before the end of August. Do you think it's possible? Of course it is, but we can't do it without you. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Hit that like button and drop a comment. It really helps out the channel, it really helps out the video, and that's a very easy and free way of supporting me. Let's talk about it, guys. Now, what does flagpoling looks like? Flagpoling is really a term that's used by Canadian immigration that really depicts somebody going through the border and coming back at the same time. So it's usually done at a land border. So you drive through the border, but you don't enter the US, you come back into Canada at the same time. Now, there's a few things that you need to know about flagpoling. One of the first things that you need to know is that it is 100% legal, right? So a lot of persons are always wondering, is flagpoling legal? Am I gonna be reprimanded for doing flagpoling or anything of the sort? Now, whilst it's usually discouraged rather than encouraged, it's legal, which means that it's definitely something that you can do and it won't have any repercussion. And the real reason why it's not really encouraged is because CBSA, which is really the Border Protection Agency, they don't want to be overwhelmed by processing immigration applications, right? Because that's not really their job. But in addition to that, it's 100% legal, and it's a quick way of getting your status changed in Canada, right? So flagpoling got the term really because it's you going through the border, not entering the US, going around the flag and coming back into Canada. So that's why it's called flagpoling. So that's why it's really called flagpoling, because you're really just going around a flag, right? So that's how the name came about. Now, there is specific circumstances that you can do flagpoling or practice the act of flagpoling. Not every circumstances it's possible, but in some circumstances you can. Like, for example, if you are a student permit holder and you are applying for your postgrad work permit and you don't want to wait the processing time, you can do flagpoling. As long as you have your documents to show that you have completed school, you have your study permit, all of the same documents that you would use to apply for your postgrad work permit, you can do this flagpoling thing and you get your permit at the same time. Now, that's one of the benefits of flagpoling. Now, flagpoling really eliminates the processing time that is usually taken to process an application, right? Because it usually takes 30 minutes or so in order for you to get your documentation if everything is approved. So that's good. So that's why a lot of persons practice flagpoling. And again, it's just really just going through the border and coming back through. Now, if you have a work permit and you want to extend your work permit or anything like that, flagpoling is definitely an option that you can consider. I'm not telling you to do it, but it's something that you can consider. Now, because there's so much new public policy in terms of if you have a LMI, a job offer, you can convert your visitor visa to work permit. If you are, stuff like that, as long as you have a valid job offer, you can take that job offer to the border. And I'm going to make this very clear. It's not just a job offer you need, but you need all the required documents that you will be submitting if it were that you are submitting your work permit application through IRCC just the same. So you're going to show them that in addition to your job offer, you have qualifying work experience, which means that the job that you've been offered, you have experience in the field somewhat, relevant work experience they call it, and then that definitely will be what you need. You also want to take stuff like your birth certificate, proof of identity, regular documents that you would use, right? So that's definitely a way that a lot of persons are benefiting from right now, because as long as you have a valid job offer, LMIA approved, right, and you have your documentation to prove that you are good to go. And I want to just go on a side note and say that, guys, now we have been talking a lot on this channel about converting a visitor's visa to work permit, and not just on this channel, something that you've been seeing quite a lot. It's definitely a public policy, but what you need to understand, guys, is that when you get a LMIA job offer, sometimes they ask you to prove that you have relevant work experience in the field. So it's not just getting a job offer and everything is good. You have to be able to demonstrate and prove through different means that you have relevant work experience in the field that you are being employed for. So please remember that. Now, one other benefits of flagpoling is that it eliminates the application fee. Round of applause for that. Now, the application fee is something that you have to pay when you're applying directly through IRCC, but when they're coming back through the border doing a flagpoling, it eliminates the application fee. So that's one benefit of doing it. So there's quite a few benefits of doing flagpoling, but there's also a few negatives. What? No, before I come to the negatives, there's one more positive that I want to highlight. When you do flagpoling, right, contrary to when you submit your application, if everything is not intact, the application is usually refused. In most cases are not, because the visa officer don't have the opportunity to ask you questions and stuff like that. But when you do flagpoling, you're talking directly to an individual, so if everything is not really lined up, they can ask you questions for clarification and stuff like that, and then oftentimes instead of getting a refusal, then you can get an approval. So that's also one other benefit of doing flagpoling. Now let's talk about the negative of doing that flagpoling. And I want to start with one of the biggest negative. One of the biggest negative of doing flagpoling, guys, is you're not must automatically let back into the country, right? So remember now, when you go through the border, you can't enter the US. So you're gonna go through the border right in the middle here, so between the US and Canada. Then you're gonna make a U-turn, come back into Canada before entering into US, and then pass the border again. Now, when you come back into Canada, it's not automatic that the visa officers will let you back into the country. You have to be mindful of that, right? 9 out of 10 times they let you back in the country, but there's a possibility that you might be stuck between the US and Canada, and oftentimes that usually mean a flight back to your home country. So that's one of the biggest negative in doing flagpoling. The other negative in doing flagpoling is because you might have a valid Canadian visa that gives you entry into Canada, it means that they might let you into Canada back, but they might not necessarily process your document because you don't have sufficient proof to state your case, right? Which is why I say that the same documents that you'd use if it is that you were applying for your visa on IRCC website, bring the same documents, because you don't want to end up going to the border without all your passport. For example, you don't want to end up going to the border and then you realize that you left your job offer, you left your work, stuff like those. Because they might let you back in Canada, but you won't process a document, so that's probably another trip back to the border. And depending on where you are in Canada, some of the borders can be very far, like 10 hours away, 9 hours away, 12 hours away. That's a long drive, right? You can't walk across the border, you have to drive across the border as well. So you have to bear that into consideration, right? So you want to make sure that you are prepared with all your documents before you get there. Also be prepared to know that it's not a guarantee that you're gonna get this permit that you're applying for, and just keep positive and keep an open mind. Keep positive, keep an open mind, and oftentimes, as I said, you are gonna be successful, because 9 out of 10 persons who flagpole is successful. The other thing that you want to do, guys, is to make sure that you are eligible. You're eligible to apply for the permit that you are going to the border to apply for, right? In other words, make sure that your job offer is LMIA approved, you have the LMIA number, all of those stuff, because not all job offers are accepted. It has to be LMIA approved at the border. Bear that in mind. So if you go to the border and you don't have a LMIA approved job offer and it's just a job offer, then that makes you ineligible, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing all the research that is needed to make sure that you are successful, because that is the goal, that is the purpose, that is the whole mission, that is the reason why you take up yourself, go to the border in order to get this permit. So you want to make sure that you're doing your research to make sure that you're eligible. You can always call the IRCC website to confirm eligibility, right? Now I know it's tough sometimes to get through to them, but just keep trying, because I find that when I pest them I get through. No offense, but when you call them a lot, you oftentimes get through. So I just want to make sure that you're doing your proper research, your proper planning, and make sure that everything that you do is geared towards making sure that you're eligible, so that when you get there, you have your documents, you have everything to present, and then you're good to go. Oftentimes are not. There are so many persons who Flagpole who have been successful. Again, it reduced the not reduce it, eliminate the processing time, it eliminate or reduce the processing fee. You get through same time, more chance. Yo, listen, there's so much benefits of doing it, but IRCC will tell you that it's discouraged because they put the CBSA underneath more additional pressure, and it's not really their job description, so they discourage it. But it's really not illegal, it's 100% legal, so there's nothing wrong with flagpoling. All right, guys, if you have learned anything from this video, please, if you're still here with me, just take a second to hit that like button. It really helps me out. If you're watching the channel, you're getting substance, you're getting value, subscribe. Don't be a silent watcher either. Don't be a silent watcher anymore. Drop a comment. If it's even to say hi, let me know just what part of the process you like the most, or what part you found more difficult, or what's the purpose of you traveling to Canada. Like, what are you coming to Canada for? Whatever the case may be, just drop it down in the comment section, man. Let's have a little chat down in the box right down there, so below, right? Again, we are really happy to have each and every single one of you guys here. We don't see numbers, we see persons. This community is really growing, and we really appreciate every single one of you guys who hit that subscribe button and decided to become a part of the Anderson family. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video again, and see you guys in the next video. All right.